everybody? I'm Danny Otto. Welcome into an all-new episode of That Recap Show. Now, before we get into the episode, just want to issue major spoiler alert. We are going to be going over everything that happened in episode 4 of the Penguin series. So if you haven't watched that episode yet, you may want to pause this video, head over to Max, check out that episode, and then come back and enjoy the breakdown. Now, with that out of the way, let's start the show.
Poppin' Off presents That Recap Show.
All right, joining with me to break down everything from episode 4 of the Penguin series, it's Jon Jon Rico.
Boy, this show's pretty freaking good.
Holy shit, it's good. I mean, that was the first thing that I said on our rundown. Holy shit. Oh man, it's it's heavy in the best way possible.
My eyes were glued to that screen for that entire episode. It was fascinating. Yeah.
So the only thing I can do to start this off is to say, holy shit, Sophia has gone through some shit. Like,
yeah. That's to say the least.
Yeah, we finally got a glimpse into everything that happened in the 10 years before her appearance in the beginning of the series, and we're gonna break some of it down, and it is a little rough.
Yeah.
So, that's my I don't even have anything else other than that. That's my instant reaction to this episode. Is just like, holy shit. Number one, I feel like we're gonna say it, every episode, and we've said it already every episode leading up to this is an incredible series. Like, it just feels like I get it. I sound like a broken record, but it just feels like a movie. Every single episode, is just done so well. Like,
yeah, it really shows why the depth of the Batman lore in that world has gone so strong for as long as it has, just because you have this kind of well of storytelling that you could have with the side characters without even having Batman in it to begin with.
Exactly. I remember when they announced this series going, I wonder how that's gonna be. I wonder if that's gonna be as strong as what they're hoping it's gonna be. And I am so happy to be surprised in the performance that we're getting from every single person in this series. Yeah. It's incredible. And what's really exciting is that it's just making me even more excited for the sequel to the Batman movie, because we're kind of, we're building this world out, just like what you said, without Batman. And so now I can't wait to see when he's back in it, type of thing, and interacting with everything that we've already started to build.
Yeah, we went on that Batman Bruce journey, and we got to see how cool the city of Gotham was in the movie, but this show is really emphasizing just how much of a character the city itself is within this whole world they're building, the Reeves-verse, I guess, the Reeves Batman world. But yeah, it's just incredible. And yeah, the length of the amount of fascinating side characters that it has that you can just kind of build these amazing stories off of it just seems endless.
Absolutely. And there's so much to break down and everything like that. But Rico, what were some of your instant reactions for episode 4?
Yeah, this was the best episode of the season by far. This full kind of Sophia centric episode. Last week we got this really cool look on Vic and a lot of stuff that kind of made that character tick and all that.
Yeah.
But this had so many layers to it that added so much to it, an already interesting character in Sophia to begin with. She's kind of been stealing the show for me for most of the series already. And that's saying a lot given how great Colin Farrell has been in this series as well. But man, this episode is just kind of it's a tour de force basically of a performance. She goes through, we see her on basically every level of whether it's happy, sad, crazy, mad, and we see her on all these different levels here. And I think Kristen Milioti just had an absolutely Emmy worthy performance in this episode. I have a feeling she probably will get some kind of award nomination, some recognition there. in some form, because yeah, she's just absolutely incredible. Just kind of watching the way that we saw like this young girl who had really good intentions, despite being from a family with the reputation that it had. She wanted to do real good in this world, and we just saw the way that she was drove into literal madness, and we saw every single step of it all the way. And again, and we got a lot in Arkham too, which is pretty cool, because that's one of my, we're talking about how great Gotham as a city is for comic book lore and stuff like that, and for the Batman character. But man, Arkham is just one of these kind of like settings that we've tapped into a little bit within like the movies and TV. But I really like that. We got this whole episode that just kind of felt like this Arkham manic episode. It was really crazy.
Oh man,
no pun intended.
Oh man, there's so much to get into. You were just starting to tease kind of the things that we were going to start talking about. But you want to get to some takeaways?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to kick off takeaways just because I feel like my takeaway is kind of setting the stage for what you're going to get into, so it kind of works out perfectly. And I just have to say, like, just like you were saying, this deep dive flashback centric episode of with Sophia was great. It was incredible, and we got the the backstory that we were really looking to see, and kind of a lot of questions answered, and just a lot. But what I really appreciated, and I wish more shows did it this way. Some do, but like I really like how they did this. Is we got that flashback, which was most of the episode, sandwiched between like the time frame and reality that we're in. So immediately we see the ending from the last episode, but just like we were wanted, from a different angle. We got a little bit more of what happened before Vic showed up. Just a little bit. Like, so now, I mean, we got a lot of questions.
Got that missing context right there.
Exactly. Yeah. We got a lot of questions answered. So, we know for sure that Sophia knows that Oz was the one who killed her brother really quickly. And we know exactly why Oz was like, just leave her. Like, we even know the gunshots. Like, we know who, like, Oz shot. Like, that was the gunshots.
We even get like the perspective from her point of view of him looking out the window and just going like, fuck it, leave her.
Yeah.
And then I like the way they kind of tie in, like how you can kind of sync up the moments of that too. Because like, where is she? And then we see like she's literally just right there, and he's looking right at her like, nah, just leave her. Yeah, it was really cool how they did that.
And I did not know that was the person that she called either. Like, we find out later, and just like I was saying, what I really enjoyed about this was not only did we get, the context that we wanted from the end of last episode, then we got this major, like, deep dive flashback on Sophia, but then we get, a few minutes at the end of the episode, maybe a little bit more than a few minutes, at the end of the episode, back in our time frame, in our reality and stuff like that. And it even answers some of the context from that part at the beginning of the episode, where now we know who she called, like who she made the phone call to, and was saying it was Oz, like type of thing.
Right.
I didn't know who she was calling. I actually honestly thought it was going to be her uncle, and I thought maybe she was going to get the family after Oz type of thing. But I'm happy that we got the context immediately, finding out that it was one of the.
It was Julian Rush, the doctor.
Yeah, the doctor. I was trying to look. I was a therapist, psychiatric, like the person who was working beside the main doctor at Arkham.
Yeah, basically. we got a lot of context into their relationship and how they met and stuff like that, and why they have kind of like this close bond for sure. Yeah.
And oh man, there's just so much to unpack, but I don't want to step over anything that you want to dive into, because I know there's a lot of really cool points that you want to dive into for your takeaway. So Rico, what are some of your takeaways for episode 4?
Yeah, that's one of like the many, they added a lot of context for a lot of different situations here in this episode, which I found really fascinating. Again, it's just going back to the many layers of this character that they were able to kind of give context to, and make you really feel for her, because she's almost kind of starting to feel like the protagonist to Oz's antagonist almost, because obviously like when you have a show that's kind of based around a villain character like the Penguin, usually their antagonists, and if they're considered the protagonist of the show, is going to be someone that we kind of like want to root for, because they have a little bit a sense of like moral good in them still. And this is the episode where you kind of gain that sympathy for Sophia and the kind of person that she ended up having to become because of the situation that her father put her in.
Yeah.
I'll start off with that first. Actually, Mark Strong coming in as Carmine Falcone was just perfect recasting.
Yeah.
He just really kind of fit that kind of like mafia boss vibe too. And so did John Turturro. I thought he was really cool casting for that movie. But the way they were able to bring in such a strong actor in Mark Strong, no pun intended, but he was just really cool. And the dynamic between him and Sophia was just really well done. It kind of felt like you could see the inspiration that he took from John Turturro's performance. Like he wasn't straight up mimicking him, but there was a lot of little tendencies that he still kept from it.
Yeah.
That he still made it his own. And that was really cool. But one of the really cool things that they actually kind of tied in from the Batman movie, and it's really just kind of like a quick scene that happens in the movie, but obviously Carmine is the one that frames Sophia for the Hangman murders, and it tends to be a lot of women from the clubs that he owns. That he tends to be like killing in like a heat of passion, or if they find out something that he doesn't want them to learn, kind of like we learn in the movie, like he does with Selena's friend. But he tends to have a knack for just putting their hands on them and just choking them, and that was something that he did to Selena's friend in the movie. But he also ends up doing to Selena Kyle in the movie as well. We see him actually try to kill her the same way. So I like that they kind of gave him that kind of like that it's kind of like his signature way of handling it with people that get in his way. But the whole added context of him using that to frame his daughter and all that it just adds that layer of like that. But it's why Carmine Falcone is just one of like the more notorious mob bosses in the Batman world, and I think they did a great job of just establishing that here. But yeah, even the way like when she seems like she knows everything that's going to happen, but she's being gaslit by the Arkham Asylum as well, because she doesn't know which ones are being paid off by her dad. And I think that's where that kinship with Julian Rush is, because she knows she can trust him, and
Right.
they have that. That's where they develop that relationship. And I like the way that he kind of like lets her do her thing when she kind of like has that kind of moment of clarity at the end of the episode, right? When they have that conversation. So that was really, really just well done. Another thing I liked was in the assignment itself. She gets put in herself for the first time. And if you hear that creepy, crazy woman voice, and I was like, who are they going to put in here right now? And they put in a pretty cool, like niche Batman character named Magpie. The Reeves verse does a great job of just kind of taking a character like this and just kind of making, they're not going to use her in like a Batman movie. So, because she's not really a villain that's going to, cause a lot of ruckus as far as like a Joker or a Riddler or something like that. But she's someone you can throw in here in a role like this, and it's really cool because she's just like a jewel thief who's got like some pretty crazy claw hands. But the way she's used to forward Sophia's arc in here is pretty crazy, because it goes from like her kind of like trusting her a little bit first, but then like not trusting her when she seems like it's all part of Sophia's like kind of descent into madness too. The more that she got brain shocks and all that, the more she got more paranoid about Magpie, and it also led to her just smashing on the table and going full Hangman on her. Yeah. So she's been like, is this what you wanted? Like, this is what you want me to do? And yeah. And that's ultimately what kind of drives her to become the woman that's able to pull off the thing that she does at the end of the episode when she wipes out the entire family with the gas. So it's just like, yeah, it's kind of crazy, the kind of monster that he ended up creating out of such an innocent girl. And it's, yeah, just again, incredible performance by Chris Milioti.
Yeah. I mean, brought her to the breaking point. I mean, both like,
yeah.
I mean, that was just, it was so heavy. I mean, it was exactly like the context we wanted to get the backstory of what, this character that we got introduced with, like this really crazy stare, like in the early episodes of the series. And now we know where that came from to get that context, but holy shit, all of that stuff was so heavy. Like
and that's not even mentioning the other inmate in there, the short-haired inmate that she has the whole beef with too, and that there's that whole other aspect of it too. But yeah, it is. First of all, the actors and all these the side actors in the show, from Magpie to that other inmate. They're getting some incredible people in the show, and it's really it's spooky, and I like it.
yeah, and we got the introduction of the drug in the form
Bliss,
of candy.
Yeah.
So we know it did start in Arkham. And I'm assuming she gets it from the therapist. I forget his name, the one who's out. Like she goes to him.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they must have worked together to at least smuggle some of it out, type of
Yeah,
thing.
I still wonder if we might even get some more context into like more of that relationship too. Of course, that there's still a lot left to be told about her stay in Arkham, I think.
Yeah, I mean, after that, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah, and we even learned about how much the relationship that she has with Alberto is a big motivation to what is driving her character in present days. You can see that love that they
Yeah.
had for each other. He was really the only one that tried to like stick up for her when the entire family literally just like shunned her basically. So and that's it almost makes that whole revenge scene at the end even more powerful too because he's gone now. That there's nobody left, so she has no qualms about taking out any of the other people. So, and thankfully leaving the child out of it as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, whew, yeah. There's so much.
that the tension in that scene was insane too because it's when the mom tries to get up with them and she's
Yeah,
like, "No, you sit down too, but you
you
can go."
stay.
I
Yeah.
was like, "Thank God you let her go."
Well,
I had no idea what she was gonna do there.
I thought something was gonna happen there,
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
no,
That's
she waits until
oh my
much
gosh,
later.
the
Oh
tension
man.
in this is insane.
Whew. Yeah, everybody stops talking as soon as she walks in. Oh
Whew,
man.
the presence.
Whew.
And that dress was pretty good too.
Yeah.
But like she walks in with like just a whole look, and it almost felt like she was wearing like they said it in the inside the episode. They kind of made it to where she was like basically in her own suit. She had this really cool makeup, this wild hairdo, and the dress. I was like, oh yeah, that's like her villain suit. Like she's drawn the comic. That's how you're gonna look at it right there. Boom. And I
Whew.
was like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. Before we get too far, do you wanna get into some predictions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. All right. Why don't you kick off predictions? I have a feeling, we're gonna be basically, talking about the exact same stuff because after that episode, there's only, there's only a few things that we can think that are gonna
Yeah,
happen.
I mean, really, a lot of the things that I was kind of anticipating happening in almost later episodes, they kind of happened here already. Like
Yeah.
the reveal of Sophia learning that Oz was the one that killed Alberto. Like I was ready for them to kind of coexist for a couple episodes and then get that reveal,
Yeah.
but we kind of get like one good episode, then kind of being, just kind of like coexisting with each other, and then all of a sudden, like, okay, that's already gone to shit. So, now we have the rest of the season to look forward to. Of basically, like, there's not many Falcons left. So where her status will be like, as far as like that Empire is going to be interested to see what she does after the
Mhm.
events that happened at the end of the episode. And now we got, of course, the Maroni still in play as well. So like we still have like this kind of just the kind of war that could still be going on here, but now we just don't know where Oz goes from here now because it seems like a lot of his original plan is just kind of like going to shit, especially now that Sophia knows about Alberto. So, yeah, there's I really like that. I have no real clear idea of where things are gonna like go, like traject from here. And I'm just excited for the ride.
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost in the exact same like boat as you. Where like, I really don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, all I said was, I mean, obviously something's gonna happen with Vidi. I don't know what she's gonna do with him, but like,
Mhm.
she left him alive for a reason.
Yeah, he
Like,
still has some of a use. Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know if maybe she's gonna turn him over to the Maronis or something like that. Like, or if
Or
I
he'll be like her puppet. Like he
yeah.
probably because he's the man, and that's how like the hierarchy works in those families. Like, okay, you're gonna rule, but like you're gonna do what I tell you to do. That could possibly be the relationship they have now too.
Or maybe she sets him up to take the fall for all of the rest of the family that's now dead, type of thing. Like, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, maybe she makes it look like he did everything. Like, she walks around and puts the gun in his like. There's 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 a reason he's still alive, and it's
Oh
not
yeah,
a good reason.
yeah.
But the other side of that is I am excited to see the story pick back up where we left off with Oz and Vic, and we get to see, what have they been doing? Because I mean, it's been a few days, a day or two, maybe.
Couple hours, really.
No,
Well, no,
no,
that he left the
no.
club and then he came back, and so that was the last time they saw. That's the last time we left off with them.
Yeah, but she wakes up and it's daytime, and then she goes and it's nighttime for the dinner. So it's at least a day or two.
Oh, okay. You're okay. Yeah, I'm here.
You know
Just
what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I thought you were saying since they saw each other. Like I was saying, where they're
no,
gonna
no,
go
no.
from here because they got some shit to resolve themselves now. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I want to see what's happening with them in like the last 24, 48 hours that everything's been
Right.
happening
I
with
hear you.
Sophia. Basically, it's what. I'm excited to see, because I mean they have they have 24 to 48 hour head start, I guess, to do whatever they need to do to start preparing for this, imminent clash that's gonna happen between Oz and Sophia at some point. Like,
yeah,
something crazy is gonna happen before the end of the season.
Yeah. And I also wonder, because they said that the series is gonna not, it's not gonna be like the big setup for the sequels, the events of the sequel, but there's gonna be events in here that will play into the Batman 2, of course, because obviously there's gonna be a change of power and how things are run in the criminal world. But I wonder if at the end, if Oz is the one who's in power, and say both the Maronis and the Falcones have been eliminated from the picture, and it's just his empire in the Iceberg Lounge and stuff like that, I still feel like they're gonna maybe set up like the fact that he's not really the one in power, because there's always gonna be something like the Court of Owls that's gonna kind of like give him if someone gives him like their calling card, like, hey, like now that you've become like the one of the head honchos, now you can learn about this bigger society that you had no idea about before because you weren't worthy of it.
You think you're on top, but you're really on the bottom.
Exactly. You're still a pawn for what we're doing. So yeah, I really I would like to see them kind of set that up in some kind of form. I think that'd be a kind of a cool next step.
I mean, we got time. We
got time.
Yeah, like just like you said, that confrontation or that context episode happening now kind of means we do have a little bit more time to let other things breathe, and that's something that can breathe. And also the clash between Oz and Sophia has a little bit of time to kind of gain a little bit more suspense, traction. Like I can't wait for next episode. I purposely, I told you this before we even started recording, I did not watch the preview yet for the next episode. So I am very excited. I'm probably going to break down and watch the preview before the episode comes out, because it's gonna be a long week between now and when the next episode comes out. But I like being in this little pocket of not really knowing exactly what's gonna happen next.
And this is why I like weekly releases too. You get that whole kind of like week of speculation and anticipation, and it's like, it's great. Love it.
Not only that, but you get like theorizing and kind of just being able to have conversations like this, like what we're having right now, like key things that we're hoping to see in the future and stuff like that. We have all this time instead of just binging the entire season and talking about. Wasn't that great?
Yeah, it's like, hey, that good part in the beginning of the series, and then that good part at the end of the series, and then glossing over the other. Here we get to talk about everything that happens within the show. It's awesome.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, this is so much fun. And I mean that like watching weekly, not this episode. This episode was very heavy, if I'm being completely honest. Very brutal, very heavy episode, but
captivating. Yeah,
captivating is a good word too. But as we always say, that's what we think. Let us know in the comments below. What did you think of episode 4? And more importantly, what do you think is going to happen next? And as always, don't forget, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to hear about all of our latest audio and video podcast releases. Bye, everybody!
Poppin' Off presents That Recap Show.